Alright Joe, how's it going? Well, I finally got around to doing this video. There's a couple of things I want to address, particularly about the new atheism, the approach of the new atheism. Things that concern me about the whole thing. And it's based on what I've witnessed here on YouTube and Dawkins' writings and things, and the writings of Sam Harris and Dennett and Christopher Hitchens. I think the problem that I have with the new atheist approach is the confrontational style of it, and I find it curious that one of the objections that Dawkins and the rest have to religion is that it creates in-groups and out-groups and fosters in-group and out-group hostility. And I see the same thing happening with this new atheism. There's an in-group and an out-group hostility that's being actively fostered and encouraged, and there are inherent dangers within that. If you look at any situation around the world, in any scenario where there are in-groups and out-groups, it does generate a hostility, and that hostility ends up leading to violence and can lead to death, as we all know. And it's not, I mean, if this was something that was particular or peculiar to religion, I think that Dawkins and the like would have a case. But is that so? No, it's not. You get that with all sorts of different groups. You get it with politics. You get it with football. You get it with nations. You get it with regional differences between supposedly similar cultures. But I mean, you get that within all societies and a whole host of different types of scenarios. So it's not peculiar to religion. And that's the new atheism sort of arose on the back of the attacks on 9/11 and subsequent attacks, and there was a sort of a groundswell of fear and resentment and hatred, and it was directed towards specifically the Islamic fundamentalists, and then more generally towards religion. And this was the vanguard of this was led by Dawkins and the like, and his position being that religion was evil, that these attacks were based on religious dogmatism. If that is the case, then I think we all need to know it. But is it the case? Is it objectively true that those attacks were grounded within a religious context? Are suicide bombers because of religion? What does the science say about it? Is there any science? Is there any scientific study of it? Well, there's a guy called Robert Pape who, in 2005, I think it was 2004, 2005, produced a book. The name just escapes me at the moment. I'll probably put it in annotation here. But he compiled a database of every suicide bombing from the early 80s, and did extensive analysis and on all the suicide bombings, and his findings were that religion played a minor role in most of those suicide bombings. Now, I'll not go through the whole findings of the report. I'll post a link, and you can check it out yourself. And but if you watched, I would encourage anyone to who's interested in science, and I suppose any atheist, to watch, if they haven't done already, the Beyond Belief conferences. There was one in 2006, 2007 and 2008. There's hours of video there, and it's fascinating stuff. If you're an atheist, you'll particularly like 2006. It was a sort of an atheist love fest. It was a sort of an atheist love fest. Dawkins was there, Sam Harris was there, and Dennett wasn't there that year because he was sick. But I would encourage anyone, believer and non-believer alike, to watch the videos. And you will see other atheists addressing their concerns about the approach of Dawkins and Sam Harris, etc., and taking them to task. There's a guy called Scott Atran, who's he's a US government advisor about Islam and the Middle East and that, and he takes Sam Harris to task over his mischaracterizations of Islam. He does it in 2006, he does it again in 2007. And one of the things that concerns me, and that's even in the presentation of the evidence, and you'll hear Dawkins and the like talking about that he's only interested in finding out the truth. But even when presented with the evidence that religion played a minor role in the suicide attacks, they refuse to accept it. So that worries me, and that should worry anyone. There's nothing within the new atheist approach that hasn't been done already. It hasn't. There are no particularly new arguments that I can see. And this new approach, the only new approach is that that concerns me is that this tactic of demonizing and belittling and dehumanizing your opposition, namely those of a religious nature. If you look throughout history, you will see this. You will see this happening, and it inevitably leads to persecution, and it inevitably leads to conflict. When you push someone, when you push a society, when you push a group of people, at some stage there will be a pushback. And you're seeing this already, and it worries me that this will adversely affect science. There's a charge that Dawkins makes that religion removes the desire to know answers, to know the answers of things. It removes the desire to pursue a science, that it corrupts and stultifies the scientific endeavour, the religious mindset. And I don't know where he gets this from. I think he just pulls these. Sometimes I think he just pulls this stuff out of his arse. Yeah, I've seen him use this no true Scotsman fallacy all the time. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous. I think you mentioned in one of your videos about the number of people the number of scientists who are atheists and a number of scientists who are religious. And I don't think the numbers have changed that much. I think there are more atheist scientists now than there have been, but it's not. There hasn't been a huge big swing. And according to Dawkins, you can't be a true scientist if you're religious. Where does he get that from? He certainly doesn't get it from a knowledge of the history of the scientific endeavour. Any cursory glance at that would show that that's nonsense.